All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders, great millstone, who teach very well, where I learned this truth from, and salutation out there to the hopeful elect who continue to push this word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. And also, Shalom to all the men, children who sincerely believe upon the words of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. And today, just basically getting on a food war, man. And a food war is just a fancy name for a famine, you know? Lack of bread, lack of water, because that's the times that we're coming unto, man. And these different things like the chicken plants get burnt down and certain things happen out the blue. Before the Crown 19, a lot of crops have got destroyed and things like that. And certain farmers haven't bounced back from that. You think in the upcoming future, you think that the storehouses that America have is going to suffice these Americans' diets? You see what I'm saying? But guess what? It's getting to a point when the famine is creeping up this Western society, man, because this is the most gluttonous society ever, man. In the West, you can get a hamburger, some nuggets, a fries, and a drink for $4 at Wendy's, man, which shows you that these people are in the spirit that nothing that can possibly go wrong. Let's go ahead and get there in Second Ezra, man, the 16th chapter, because at the end of the day, the Lord, He's just sending you up for the giddy up, man. You know. That's why it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Because hey, when these people who have high blood pressure, who got sugar diabetes, hey, once the food run out, they gonna bug out, man. You know, and especially the people who have these different crazy diets. If you haven't had Chick-fil-A in the past 2 weeks, now you got a super demon on you and stuff like that. Hey, man. Hey, when these different restaurants close down and the food be scarce, hey, that's when reality is going to kick in. So let's go ahead and go right here to Second Ezra 16. And I'm going to jump down. This Second Ezra 16, and I'm going to start at verse 21. It says, behold, victuals shall be good, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they may think themselves to be in good case. They had a 4 for 4, a 5 for 5 meal. You can go to rallies and get a whole combo for $3. And one thing Jake don't consider is what's the things that's in those foods, man. Because a lot of the foods that Esau push out with these different corporation companies, hey man, a lot of those food has a lot of chemicals on them, man. When you eat the food, then 2 hours later, you be even more hungry than before, So once this devil basically win you off of Chick-fil-A or win you off of McDonald's, you're going to be craving that taste, man. And you're going to accept any and everything that this guy put in your face, whether it be a cockroach or whether it be a damn human. Because that's the point that we're going to get into. And brothers can see, I have this article queued up. I ain't even touched it yet, but it says EU accused of waging food war. And that's basically a famine, man. To push forth, take away certain things so you're forced to eat this now, Let's go ahead and go back to the second Ezra 16 verse 19 again, in verse 21 again. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they may think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And yes, the famine is growing, man. And don't think that the inflation with the eggs is something just for GP. No, man. That's a lack of chickens. All the Buffalo Wild Wings and hey, you got to realize, man, a 10-piece chicken, a 10-piece wing, that feed one person, that takes 5 chickens, man. So every one person is 5 chickens, man. Every meal you eat, it got to take 5 chickens just to make it. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, we know that Esau, he got his hands into it, but ultimately it goes back into Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, man. Like the scripture said, I created light, I create darkness, I make peace and create evil, man. This is the spirit of the Lord that's orchestrating the things upon the planet Earth right now. He is orchestrating this food war. So let's read a little bit of this article. EU accused of waging a food war. Brussels is trying to change Western dietary values. And when they talk about Western, they're not just talking about the Americas. No, they're just talking about North America, man. You know, Edomite Central, because again, the diets of these Americans are horrible. One of the most gluttonous places upon the planet Earth, but also they don't even eat healthy, man. You know, a thing that is of a prize is pork, and the things that's of a delicacy is lobster, man. Which shows you that this place is totally off. This is a part of the Lord punishing this place. However, you could say you could put Esau in it, but ultimately it goes back into the Lord. Let's continue on. It says by declaring insects fit for a human consumption, a Polish official have said. Now it's certain, bugs that's lawful. You see what I'm saying? You know, like John the Baptist, he ate grasshoppers and things like this. So things are even lawful to eat, man. But what this devil is doing, he's pushing forth this as a trend, for the lack of better words. Let's read a little bit of this. The EU is conducting a food war against traditional Western dietary habits, according to Polish Deputy Agriculture Minister Klosov Cesario. The remarks came after a European Commission ruling in January approved the use of house crickets in food. And again, it's certain things that's lawful, but hey, it's going to come to the point it's going to be roaches. It might be even a little bit of human in there, This how Esau is finna get ready to push forth this new way of life, man. And ultimately, the new way of life is just showing you that you do anything that the so-called white man tell you to do, man. He told you to take a device inside your hand. You took it. He told you to take the vaccine. You took it, man. He told he even told you to he gonna tell you, and he's even telling you now in a roundabout way to forsake your power, man. By the way of pushing forth the LGXYZ, he's telling you to forsake Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. The powers of heavens and earth, Let's continue on though. It says appearing on Polish radio live on Friday, Cesario alleged EU officials are trying to change trends, and like I always say, every now and then, that America deal with trends, man. A part of a trend was skinny jeans. Now everybody is wearing that. A part of a jean is big glasses. Now everybody is wearing that. Hey, Esau is basically showing you with everything that he say is cool. It's cool. And 9 times out of 10, he's using Jake to push forth these different ways of life, man. Because Esau, no having ass, can't do it. Let me read this again. It says, are trying to change trends and argue that the recent decision represented a battle in a food war. And that's basically a famine, man. Because, hey, it's going to get to a point when this devil is going to try to push you into desperation, man. You got to realize that's what, when tribulations hit, hey, some people going to the, you going to the point of desperation, man. Whether it be you being cornered off by a damn pit bull, you desperate, now you got to fight your way out of it. Or whether it be it's no food left, now you got to eat the leaves off the tree. But this guy, Esau Edom, he's going to try to push this desperation unto you, whether it be by the way of rations. He give you 100 crickets a month, or whether it be, in order to continue to receive your crickets and other things, have this tiny device inside you. Now let's read a little bit of this, because basically it's just saying, yeah, we're trying to help you eat healthier and things like that, and alternative things that we should eat. But ultimately, is this devil trying to push forth his new way of life, man? You know? Let's go ahead and read a little bit of this. Because the comic book, Esau says a lot of things, man. You know? Here you go. Right here. And this just came out to me because ultimately these people think, yeah, crickets, you just eating healthier. Why you ain't telling niggas to eat salads, man? Tell niggas to eat more greenery. If you worry about their diet and their health so bad, take away McDonald's. But what this guy's doing, he's pushing forth alternative way of life, man. Let's read a little bit of this. It says, you want to be a part of an empire that wants that's what you get. It says you want to be part of an empire, that's what you get. So get used to the sound of crickets. They'll be playing the world's smallest violin. Brussels is changing Western dietary standards, not with crickets for those that want them, but by starving the continent of cheap fuel and fertilizers. Yes, man. Because you have to realize, man, that the food don't get to your plate just like that. You have to realize in the ancient world, certain things took time, man. That's why it's a saying. I've been slaving over this stove for this long. For lack of better, I've been slaving over this stove all day. It actually took that, man. Whether your mom, she had to kill a chicken, gut it, pluck the leaves and things off of it, start a fire, get the fire into the right amount of heat, get the size ready, cook a couple of lentils, cut up the onions, get the garlic, It took time for those things. But here in this Western society, they're so used to getting things in the microwavable generation or microwavable type of state instantly. Whether you want some food right now, you go to a fast food restaurant, man. But you get your food right then and there. And it don't even be good for you, man. Let's continue on though. And again, because again, it's they're using cheap and bad fertilizers. Hey, it's been certain reports that these different chemtrails and these different things that Esau is pushing forth throughout the planet Earth right now is actually hurting the farmland. Whether it be goats and cows and lambs and rams dying, whether it be the fruit is not bearing no more, and that's a curse that the Lord gave unto you in Genesis the 4th chapter. Because that's what you're going to, man. This is why you got into this point, because the earth is not bearing its fruit. You're going to alternative foods. You're going to GMO foods, chemically produced foods. Ultimately, why you started that? Because the earth is not bearing this fruit unto you. Let's go right here, Genesis 4, and I'm going to start at verse 12. It says, when thou tillest the ground, it should not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. Yes, man. Grapes start getting smaller and smaller. Now it's seed is grape, seed is watermelon, which shows you that the earth is not fucking with Esau plans, man. It says, a fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And that's what you're doing. You're trying to pull off the world biggest heist, man. You're trying to, you're trying to actually steal everybody's soul on the planet Earth. How? By putting a device into them, man. And one of the ways that this devil is going to push forth that sea help is what? A famine. Don't be surprised once the famine hit, the sea help start being more and more of a trend, quote unquote, man. So let's go ahead and go back into this article. Continuing on, it says, and one thing that's hurting the farmland too is the water, because the water have those different forever chemicals in there. Certain plants don't react well into those forever chemicals, man. Like you can, brothers in the truth, they can tell the difference between tap water and bottle. You can tell the difference between the qualities of water. You don't think a plant can't do that? Let's continue on though. It says, one wonders that the crickets will be fed GMO or non-GMO chicken fed, likely with the dubious contents. Yeah, you don't know what these devils actually giving you. It says the same stuff that has lately stopped the chicken from laying eggs concentrated in a cricket. So, hey, man, ultimately, these devils, they're coming to a point of desperation, and they're going to get ready to push forth these devious plans, man. And the part of those devious plans is what a man-made famine. Let's go to Isaiah 3 in verse 1. For behold, the Lord of hosts. When you go into that word, host, it actually means the Lord of armies, man. The Lord of Sabbath oath, man, which shows you that the Lord is actually waging war on you people, man. You know? It says, for behold, the Lord of hosts, the take away from Jerusalem and from Judah, the state and the staff, the whole state of bread and the whole state of water. Yes, man, that's the times that we're coming unto, man. Yahweh Shemal Shai, he's going to get ready to take away your comfortability here in this place. Because one thing that make Americans comfortable is what? Food, man. You know? You said you can eat a tub of ice cream now, man. You know, you happy you can celebrate by going out to eat. Every emotion this devil had a food for you to actually please your craving. But it's getting to the point where the Lord, he's going to take away that food, man. And Jake is going to bug out. They can't eat. They can't wait 2 or 3 hours, not alone 2 or 3 days to damn eat, man. Why? Because they're in the spirit of an American, the spirit of the West, man. Because again, this is one of the most gluttonous place upon the planet Earth. Let's start right here, though. Let's get one more precept. This is the book of Jeremiah 32, and I'm going to start at verse 36. It says, and now therefore thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemal Shai, the power of Israel, concerning this city, whereof ye say it shall be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon by the sword and by the famine and by the pestilence. So basically, you know that it was talking about back in the ancient world when the Babylon, you know, when basically our people was being trapped up and basically being sieged around, you know, and became overcame by the Assyrian empire, you know, going to slavery and things like that. This devil, he's going to use these same plans. What was written before time, was written for our learning, even 70 AD, man. All these different things is a reoccurrence. One of these different things that break the people in a city is a famine. They surround the city. They put gates and things and stuff like that up. And they're like, if you're going to surrender, come on out. But if you ain't, you know, you got to stay in there. And basically, it's going to get to the point where people are going to run out of food and people are going to start getting in the desperate mindset, you know, whether it be people actually eating their kids, you know, and that's actually is written in the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get it, man, because this is a part of the reality of the scriptures. Let's get that real quick, because again, these people, they're going to end up eating their kids, end up, you know, first it's going to start off you eating leather, chewing on your fingernails, end up starting biting bits and parts of your own fingers off. And then it's going to get to a point when your fat homeboy look like a hamburger, and your skinny homeboy is going to look like a damn hot dog, man. Let's get this, though. This is the book of Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to start at verse. Please bear with me. Yeah, here you go. This Deuteronomy 28 and verse 55. It says, so that he, so like, yep, I'm going to start at verse, yeah, here you go. Just getting to the point. Deuteronomy 28 in verse 53. It says, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord Yahweh Shemal Shai thy power hath given thee in the siege. Because it's going to get to a point when this guy's going to push forth a second lockdown, man. You know, and not to go too deep in on that, because Esau here strike your page. But hey, that lockdown is gonna basically block you off for certain things and certain resources. You know, it says in straightness, that word straight basically mean a level of difficulty It says, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee. And who's that ultimate enemy that's trying to distress us? Is Esau Edom. It just said EU is waging the full war in the European Union, man. NATO in the EU, man, in the European Union, they the money side of the beast system. NATO is the muscle. EU is the money, NATO is the muscle. But just going back, they're coming down and having great wrath, man. A part of that great wrath is this guy forcing a famine upon you. Let's continue on. It says the tender and delicate women among you, which would not eventually set the sole of her foot upon the ground for the delicates and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. And it's the end up being the nigger woman. But hey, she's going to be at her height in the time of Jacob's trouble, because she's going to fall apart once the food stamps stop and the child support checks stop coming in. She's gonna be a mega demon now. She's a super demon, but she's gonna turn to a mega demon when Jacob's trouble come, man. And ultimately, a lot of these women are gonna take that seed because they trust and love this system. Let's continue on to it, verse 57. It says, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for the want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness. Now, this happened back in 70 AD, man. You read the book of Josephus, it certainly counts when they agree, we're going to eat this baby, It certainly counts when a woman got caught actually eating a baby, and the Roman soldiers caught her, and she tried to offer them some, And it's a count in the scriptures when there was an agreement that we're going to eat little John today, and tomorrow we're going to eat little Susan, and they end up reneging, But hey, we come into a serious time in prophecy, man. The famine is not just a light thing, man. When it says right here in the scriptures, it says in the siege and in straitness, that word straitness actually means what? A level of difficulty. Because hey, in the famine, your body is basically eating itself. And it tells you in the scriptures in Lamentations 4, jumping down to verse 9, it says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, for they pine away stricken for the wants of the fruits of the field. And that's what, especially nowadays, man. That's what those different chemicals kick in. You go to Chick-fil-A, now you got a taste for it again 2 weeks later, man. Ain't no coincidence that they be jumping like a damn crack house. But hey, it's gonna be dangerous when a nigga can't get his daily Big Mac meal. It's people that eat out daily, man. And they eat the same meal every day. Brothers who ever worked in the fast food restaurant, they witness it. It's a guy that have a routine, he eat the same damn thing every damn day. And what's going to happen when he can't get those 6 tenders, man? He's going to bug the fuck out. But let's continue on, though. Let's read this again. It says, for these pound away, stricken for the wants of the fruits of the field. You're going to be craving your favorite food, but it's not going to be available, man. Even a food that you don't like. You don't like tomatoes, but you'll take one. Because you ain't ate in 3 days, man. You see what I'm saying? This is the point that we're coming into in prophecy. Why? Because these people are basically in a careless state of mind, not thinking that the Lord will come and judge this place, man. And how he's judging this place by waging war on food. That is a heavy thing, especially in these times. And once you ain't got no food, ultimately, you're going to look towards the people. You're going to look for alternatives, man. It's going to get to a point when that rat that's been running around in your house for about a couple months, he's going to get caught. It's going to get to a point when little John going to, your dog, little John, he's going to get caught. Then little Susan going to be the next one upon your list, man. Why? Because you transgress against the Lord. This is a part of the curses. And again, we know that this happened back in 70 AD, but it's going to happen again. We have to realize, if they do if they lock down the whole city, that's actually a siege. If nothing can go in and nothing can go out. Let's read this, continuing on. Read this again. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 57. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for the want of all things secretly in a siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. And again, we know that this happened back. I'm gonna keep on reminding it happened back in 70 AD when there was a siege and things like that upon the city. And it can happen again, man. That's the point that I'm coming on to, and these devils are showing you because the food is not even being produced like it had been produced 3 years ago, man. You know, and it actually tells you in certain articles, it was like a see Esau, he be changing things. It was like a thing that about Germany. Here you go. Germany producers warn of a meat shortage, man. You know, which shows you, and it says right here, in about 46 months, the meat over there in Germany is going to run out. And through the spirit, look, they got the abomination up there, man. And it's going to get to a point when it ain't going to be nothing but abomination on the menu. A pork chop, 4 pork chops, you know, for damn 3 racks, you know, because that's what time they were coming unto. But it shows you how during last season, last harvest, or the past couple of harvests, they've been doing what? Cutting livestock numbers, you know, which basically that's what they have been doing, killing different animals. Because even not to go deep into it, not to be long-winded and draw the video out, but just going into it, even certain chicken food, you know, I've brothers, been looking into that, but certain chicken food have been taken away. They've been taken off the shelf, man, or they've been damn hiked up into double or triple its prices, man. So it basically put these different formers between a rock and a hard place. Again, there's straightness, man. And this is going to get to a point. It's going to get straight for everybody. Because again, this is happening over here in Berlin, and they're trying to saying, yeah, it's the climate control. It's this, it's that, and the third. No, man, it's the spirit of the Lord affecting this place, man. You know. So yeah, Akim, I pray this video was edifying. And say, call Holayim La Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, Shalom DTA, and the Bob.